Hey guys, my name is Katie, and in this video I wanted to give my quick testimony of how it is that I overcame alcohol addiction using naltrexone and the Sinclair Method. So a little bit of a backstory. I'm someone who struggled with alcohol for about a decade. I was drinking pretty much 7 days a week. Having alcohol-free days were really challenging for me. I would usually have to force them or white knuckle them, or I would just be so hungover that I simply couldn't drink that day. And over the course of those 10 years, I tried to quit drinking literally dozens of times, and I would make it a couple of weeks or a couple of months, but eventually I would return to drinking again because my brain would be craving alcohol. I'd be thinking about drinking and just wishing that I could drink. And so I'm also someone who tried to moderate my drinking. I would try to save it for the weekends or set limits for myself. And that was always just a lot of work to do and a lot of white knuckling. And oftentimes I would just drink beyond my limits anyway because it was so hard to stop once I started. But one hungover morning, I was scouring the internet looking for answers, and that's when I accidentally stumbled upon naltrexone and the Sinclair Method. And I have to say, I'm so glad that I did because this medication and this method changed my life. It honestly seemed too good to be true when I first learned about it, but I figured I had nothing to lose, and so I wanted to try it out. And as soon as I got started on this medication, within the first week or so, I noticed a difference in my drinking. I noticed that I was thinking about alcohol a little bit less, and I was able to have an alcohol-free day that week that didn't feel totally white-knuckled and forced. And over the course of a year, I used this medication and method for a year. Over the course of that time, my drinking just gradually reduced over time. I was noticing that I was having more alcohol-free days that weren't forced. They came fairly effortlessly. I was noticing I wasn't hungover as much because I wasn't drinking as much. And I was noticing I was getting an off switch when I would drink. Typically, I'm someone who would easily polish off a bottle of wine, maybe 2 bottles of wine. And after a few months on this medication, I wasn't able to finish a bottle of wine anymore. I'd say I was going out for a couple of drinks and that would be all that I wanted. And so it was just amazing to see myself over the course of a year. I gained control over alcohol, and it wasn't because I was forcing anything or white knuckling anything or telling myself that I couldn't drink. It was through this medication therapy and this approach that I just gradually gained control over my drinking. And after a year on this method, I was drinking so infrequently, like 1 glass of wine once a month. And I just got to a point where I didn't really care for alcohol anymore. And so I myself, I quit drinking through this method, and that was over 4 years ago. But one of the most amazing things about this method is that it gives you the option to drink if you want to. So if I wanted to drink, I could drink again following this approach. So I'm so passionate about it. I love to help people change their relationship with alcohol through this approach. For more information, please check out the link in my profile.